Good evening, everybody. On this, what is today? 20th, 21st, 22nd, I guess, of February, and we are watching out for the potential of a little bit of severe weather tonight. As you can see, the slight risk down there in the Texas portions of western and southern Texas. Let me just click that real quickly here, and as you can see, give the graphic a second to pull up. See a slight risk here and put up some cities and towns, including areas like San Antonio. Just Austin, Texas is just right within the northern northeast edge of that slight risk area, and down here into eastern portions of the western Texas Panhandle. Of course, bordering on the Mexican border as well. And as you can see, just a pretty basic relatively low end severe weather event expected. 15% wind. That means a 15% threat of a damaging wind gust within 25 miles of a given point. So San Antonio, for instance, 50% chance of damaging winds within 25 miles of San Antonio, or within 25-mile radius of San Antonio. Hail, basically same thing, and tornado, even a lower end 2% tornado threat down there as well. And so there could be some little bit of severe weather around those areas later on tonight, but um, they were going to issue a severe thunderstorm watch. I'm not sure if they're going to do that right now, but it seems like they may have backed off on that. We will see. Tomorrow, though, is a day of greater concern, however, and this is where we are really watching for the potential of a localized but significant severe weather outbreak right here along the Gulf Coast. As you can see, this we do have a moderate risk now showing up here, portions of southern Mississippi, just kind of within the northeastern part of the boot of Louisiana, down through much of far southern Alabama, and extreme northwestern portions of the Florida Panhandle. Surrounding that, we have an enhanced risk area for a good chunk of the western Florida Panhandle into far southwest Georgia, including much of southern south central Alabama, um, into southern Mississippi, and back in here into the kind of the eastern two-thirds of Louisiana, surrounded by a standard slight risk from, I believe Houston's right about there. Yeah, from Houston, Texas, all the way to northern Mississippi and the northern Alabama, including cities like Birmingham and down to Tallahassee. And then a lower end marginal risk all the way up here into the Tennessee Valley, including cities like Atlanta and down through Shreveport to just, well, a little bit east, I guess, of San Antonio. And the gosh, I can't talk tonight. Probabilistics are about as clear cut as they ever get. As you can see, 45% hatched risk. The hatch marks indicating potential for significant severe weather. 45% means 45% chance of severe weather within any given point of that moderate risk area. And so the way it works when it's an outlook the day before the actual event, they do not break it up into tornado, hail, and damaging wind. They just give a general area of where severe weather is possible and do the probabilistics that way. The day of the event is when they break it up and do tornado, wind, hail, and issue probabilities for all of the severe hazards. And then finally, on Wednesday, we see the standard risk area shifting east. Now, there's no moderate risk, not even enhanced risk yet. Some forecasters think that might change, but right now there is a standard risk of severe weather for the northern portions of the peninsula. As you can see, areas like Jacksonville, just north of Orlando and Tampa, a little bit north of Melbourne, up here through Savannah and parts of eastern Georgia into much of the Carolinas, all the way up to almost all the way up to Delaware. It looks like actually a little bit south of Delaware, but still areas like Virginia Beach, Raleigh, and Charlotte. Charlotte just kind of on the western edge of that risk. down through Columbia. And again, we will have to watch the potential for severe storms as well. But the more significant day looks to be Tuesday. And I want to show you a couple things right here. First off, one of the ingredients that we need for severe weather obviously is the low level shear. And you can see at 500 millibars, that's pretty high up into the atmosphere. But we have about 70 knots of low level shear, even 80 knots and higher, trying to push in there to Mississippi. This is the OOZ NAM, and so this came out at about 7 o'clock, and let's see, we're looking at hour 30, so this would be roughly sometime tomorrow evening. And as you can see, there is definitely a lot of shear to work with. If we go down to 925 millibars, which is the lower levels of the atmosphere, is kind of giving you the shear down at the lower levels closer to the surface, and you can see that's pretty decent right there. This is a good parameter I like to look at when trying to assess a tornado situation. As you can see, we have about 35 knots down there at 925 millibars, at least being indicated by the NAM. There's definitely some good spin with this system. Another product I want to look at here is effective available potential energy. We got about 1,000 joules, maybe a little higher than that, nosing its way in here later on tomorrow night into much of Alabama. Even 500 joules of instability, which still isn't bad for this time of year, making its way almost up to Huntsville. So the moderate risk, I think it's good where it's located for now, down here in the southern portions of Mississippi, Alabama, and the western panhandle. But even up there in the enhanced, maybe even up there in the standard risk areas, could see some severe weather potential. We'll look real quickly. Give me a second here. At the 0.3 kilometer helicity, another thing I like to look at. Click it. This is another product I like to look at here, and we got values here well over 300, almost 400, a little bit above 400, I think actually. So, and I think that's pretty significant as well to note that. And so let's go back here, and actually I'll go back to the model page here. This is a different version of the NAM coming off of the COD, College of DuPage weather model page. And we're looking at surface-based CAPE, and again, about, I think we're looking about hour 30, yep. Still about 1,000 joules, as you can see. Kind of barely make that out there. Look at the supercell composite. And yeah, that's pretty darn significant. This would be sometime later in the evening, again, over Alabama and southern Alabama. I mean, we even note that we got about values of 4, making its way almost up to Birmingham and Tuscaloosa, and then even higher values down here to the south. That's pretty significant. There's definitely the potential for supercell storms down in this area tomorrow. Significant tornado parameter. You kind of have to take these things with a grain of salt, but yeah, look at that. That's actually very significant. There's no doubt, based on the upper level dynamics and the combined instability, that there could be a few, well, I think there's definitely going to be tornadoes, but this could be one of those rare situations where we see a few strong, long living tornadoes EF2, EF3, maybe even stronger than that. Tornadoes that are on the ground for a while, don't just don't dissipate within a few minutes. And so I definitely think that there is a real and significant severe weather threat for the Gulf Coast area tomorrow afternoon especially, and then into the evening hours, possibly lasting well into the night hours as well. Again, just to go back here and show you one more time, we do have tomorrow is a big day of concern. Tuesday, come on, load. Come on. Again, we do have the moderate risk area, and this is where we are watching the potential of a significant severe weather situation tomorrow. So you're going to want to make sure you stay tuned, and we will continue to keep you updated.